joined by Louisville quarterback Tyler Shough. And Tyler, I was just telling you, we don't do player interviews typically. Like, you're literally the first player that we've had on and wanted to talk to. And I wanted to talk to you specifically because I just appreciate your story and what you've been through to get here. Mm-hmm. Like, for those who aren't familiar, this guy started at Oregon. My favorite nugget in the entire draft. He's a backup quarterback to Justin Herbert. Right? And we think about Herbert and where he is, and I'm sure you're so sick and tired of hearing this conversation, but like what he's been through as a pro already, and now you're getting your opportunity, your moments here. You had 3 years at Oregon, 3 years at Texas Tech. You finally have a healthy, it all clicks, like you finally have that full season you were looking for at Louisville. And I'm just curious if you can kind of take a minute and think back, like, everything you've been through, not to start on a negative note, but like, what was the lowest point that you dealt with in all of it?
Man, I think you go to Texas Tech and you know, you're getting carted off the field thinking, one, am I ever going to play again? And two, am I ever going to walk again? Because I'm like, I can't even, my leg's hanging on by a thread right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, I broke my fibula, but, you know, obviously it was fine. It was just a broken bone. But I'm like, man, this sucks after, you know, obviously having a broken bone before that. But I think for me, it's kind of gave me this perspective. And like you said, at Louisville, it's allowed me to play free. You know, I've been a part of 5 different offensive coordinators. I've backed up Justin Herbert. I started COVID year. You know, I didn't get injured then, but it was COVID. So it was only 6-7 games. Kind of going through there, being a young, immature kid at 21, 22 years old. And like a lot of guys are coming into this process like, man, I'm the best player. I'm ready to go out here. And it's like, dude, what I thought I knew then was like, it's crazy. And I'm 25 and I still don't know crap. It's like, I still got a lot to learn, but I know for sure that I wouldn't be who I am without going through those experiences, you know, getting injured and just explaining to these teams man, I had a broken collarbone and a broken fibula. Like, I didn't have any knee issues or shoulder or back or, you know, it's like I put a plate on it and I'm good. You know, I was running quarterback counter and power, you know, 6 weeks after I broke my collarbone. And it's like, you know, I think once teams understand that and they kind of see, you know, just what I've been through, it's like, okay, that makes sense. And now let's watch the tape. And, you know, hopefully they're liking what they see. And I'm excited to kind of show what I can do here.
So you go through the 3 injuries, right? And then you finally get your year. Was there a moment this past season when you're like, thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's all clicking. Can you think of one moment like, all right, it's happening now?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, it was, for me, I only really think of it as 2. It's just the timeline sucks because I broke my collarbone in 21, but I didn't get surgery on it. And the first time I get hit again, really, because we don't practice at quarterbacks, you don't get hit because I didn't get plated. I broke it again. 2 dudes jumped on my back and I broke it. And once I got it plated, it was fine. So when I tell them that, they're like, oh, shit. And it's like, that makes sense. And then the fibula, but like to what you said, I think where it kind of hit me is running out of the tunnel at Louisville. Like I said, where I'm like, I don't know. Like, obviously, I have the passion. I got an itch. You know, I had a chip on my shoulder to go out there and prove what I can do. And as a young player, it's easy to compare yourself to others, guys in my class, like Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields and Brock Purdy, and even guys after that. Like, man,
they were in your high school. Like, I don't think people realize like Trevor Lawrence has been. He's like it feels like a 10-year NFL veteran.
I mean, it's like,
he was in your high school recruiting class, right?
Knew him well throughout the Elite 11 process, and it was just like, man, why? You know, I'm better than these guys. You know, why can't I have that opportunity? It's like, whoa. You got to go through this process, and you see, you know, everybody goes through their own circumstance. Brock Purdy had to go through his own thing to get to where he's at. Even Trevor Lawrence, he had a illustrious college career, and he's faced some adversity in the NFL. And I feel more than anything really mentally equipped and physically prepared to go into the NFL at this point, like I said, where I wouldn't have been earlier on in my career, where you think you're entitled to something or you think you're ready. And, you know, I had to play in that pro-style system where there's a lot on my plate, you know, controlling the run game, getting, you know, having 4 or 5 different plays at the line of scrimmage, getting to different passes, controlling the protections. And it's like, you know, you're dropping back, taking a 3-step drop and, you know, reading the deep choice route, hoping it gets open. It's like, oh, he's got a crazy arm. It's like you're playing robotish, you know, in previous offenses. And it's like, that's not football, you know, and that's not playing quarterback to me. And I still have to get better at all of that. So I think more than anything, like I said, I had to cultivate that grit and just I wanted an opportunity, and you know, luckily I was able to get it.
Jeff and Brian Braum are obviously highly respected for their ability to develop quarterbacks. Can you talk about the impact they've had on you?
I mean, and really pivotal, honestly. I mean, they both played the position, so they've been behind the face mask and understanding. They coached me from the perspective of like, I would have done this, or I would have made this throw, or I don't think you could have made that. You're good. So it's like, it's different in the past where it's like, why didn't you pull the trigger here? What are you doing? And it's like, Coach Braum Jeff Braum is obviously very passionate and fiery, and then Brian's kind of the counter to that is he's very analytical. He explains well, but I think you need both.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was great for me, kind of having that balance of him in the earpiece and going through those plays, but just understanding, and it gave me the confidence to go out there and they let me play free and be who I am.
It's great.
Do you talk to Justin Herbert at all still?
Not recently. We've obviously been pretty busy with our own journeys, but I did when he first got to the league, whenever I was first transferring, we talked about even recently kind of Senior Bowl stuff. But I asked him even when he came into the league, because we played in the same offense for 2 years, obviously.
Yep.
I remember one thing that stuck out. He was like, "Man, the NFL." He's like, "People make it more than it seems." It's like there are obviously better players, but what you see in college and the coaching staff, the coaching level, like everything's going to marry up for you, and you can go do your job, and you have the talent, then it'll click for you, and don't make it more than what it is. Everybody's good. Obviously, I think he said the biggest difference is the pass rush, but the coverage is you're going to see it. They obviously do a good job of disguising and everything, but he kind of gave some of that mental ease as far as college. People are playing all different kinds of stuff. Maybe you don't know what this guy's going to do, and so I think there's a lot more. I think he was just kind of relaying the consistency.
Yeah.
So that gave me a lot of confidence, at least 2-3 years ago. But at least now, you had to kind of learn those lessons yourself and continue on.
The fear of the unknown, right? Like, thinking it's just a different game, it's a different world. Can I do that? Until you're there, you don't fully know it, but to have someone that can give that advice is certainly helpful. I always ask this of quarterbacks, and honestly any position. And I used to just ask, who do you study in the league? And the answer will obviously be like the top player, the top 3 players. What do you gain when you sit down and study certain players? Are there certain things that you look for that's like teaching points for you?
No, I mean, that's a good question. I think because, like you said, it's easy to be like, oh, I watch Josh Allen. And it's like, well, you can't really coach what he's hurdling or chucking to the player. And it's like, you got to have that dog in you, which I think I do. But I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to try and do that in the NFL or something. But it's, I think more than anything, I watch their footwork. What is their stance like in the shotgun? How do they position themselves under center to where they're not getting stepped on when the guard's pulling? How do they... What's the release point? How are they stepping whenever this guy is coming? So more than anything, I think it's the footwork. How are they calm in the pocket? Okay, maybe they had a negative play. They were rushed here. They saw this guy moving this way. And then obviously the really good plays is the anticipation. So I think it's kind of shifted in my career as far as even watching Justin Herbert. It's like, man, I don't know if I would have made that dig throw. That was pretty nice. It was like, I don't know if I could do that. Or it's like that was pretty sweet. And then kind of shifting to like, man, I would have freaking ripped that. Like, I can make that throw. I feel like I'm better than all those guys now. And it's like, put me, at the time, I was like, I don't know if I'd win this competition, but I've had to compete every point in my career with new coaches. And it's like, put me against anybody, I'm going to go compete. And whether it's, going to a team like the Bills or, the Ravens, I'm not going to start. You got Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, but I feel like I'm going to elevate the room and, add value and be one of the guys. And kind of commit myself to them, but still kind of push them and be ready. And if I go to a team that, has a competition, I'm going to go out there and do my best to win it because I feel like I'm the most ready to play.
My guess is you've kind of alluded to it, but you've kind of over your struggles and your setbacks learned the importance of taking advantage of opportunities and appreciating everything. I think back to Justin Herbert's year, right? Mm-hmm. That year we had Joe Burrow and Tua Tagovailoa, and they didn't come here and they work out at the combine. They didn't throw. Not the end-all, be-all. We've had plenty of guys who didn't throw, who've gone on to have great careers, that were drafted really high, and Burrow was a good example that year. However, I do remember what it did for Justin Herbert being on that field and everyone complaining and bitching and moaning about, oh, well, Tua's not throwing and Burrow's not throwing. What are we? And Herbert went out and had an unbelievable day.
Yeah.
Doesn't change the evaluation. Doesn't mean he's going to get drafted earlier or later. But there's something to, hey, Justin was here. He's unbelievably talented. He competed. Kind of similar to what the opportunity that you have on Saturday here, right?
Yeah.
Top 2 quarterbacks, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, in a lot of people's minds, and certainly in the media. Okay? Not going to throw. You get an opportunity to throw. What's your mindset going into this?
Man, I think you got to go compete to compete. I think you got to play football to play football. That was my mindset. It was like, oh, you might as well, a lot of guys, scouts, tell me, you're not going to go to the Senior Bowl. You're not going to get drafted. You might as well leave. It's like, screw that, man. Like, I know if I go play, I can play. And I want to go show that. And it's like, why wouldn't you're here at the NFL Combine? I want to go compete. This is like a dream of everybody's here. And let's just go have fun, man. Like, obviously, it's not going to go perfect. I'm going to throw it maybe not in the right spot. I think that might be every throw. It's like, I wish I would have been more here. But it's like, this is fun, man. Like, this is all a great opportunity. And I think I want to go showcase what I can do and throw. And it's, I think for me, it's just really exciting. And to what you said, obviously every situation's different. I think you see a guy like Justin and what he did. And I was talking to Chad Pennington earlier. He's been one of our Legends guys, and he's helped out each position group. And he's made a comment with Herbert. He was like, man, he kind of came out there a little bit nervous at first. And he was like, dude, don't just come out here and rip it, man. You got the best arm. And I think you saw it even throughout the workout. He got continually better. And obviously when Justin plays free, he can rip it. And I think the same for me. Like, I had to gain that perspective of this is all a bonus, man. This was not in the cards for me. Like,
right.
And that's been the biggest thing. I'm not entitled to anything. Nobody is here. Like, you have to earn it, and I'm gonna go earn it. And if it doesn't work out, great, because it wasn't supposed to work out.
Yeah.
If it does work out, that's awesome, because like I know I can do it. But I mean, that's been the biggest thing for me.
So regardless of school or coordinator, did you have a favorite play call in college? And when, just really quickly, when you get the offense set, was there maybe like a safety alignment or something that you saw where you're like, got him?
Yeah.
This is going to be a home run.
Yeah, I mean, that's funny you said that, because the play was called home run.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got, double sturtle, triple right, 533 right, W home run. So we got a,
Can you say that again? Yeah, one more time.
Double sturtle, triple right, 533 right, W home run. So we got a, a bench route by the X, you got a home run by the W or F, which is the adjuster. And he's basically kind of inside stem. He's attacking the middle post safety. He's got a home run post or a corner, and you got a deep end cut on that there. So you're pulling the guard, you're latching on by the tight end, you're trying to hold that in, you're shifting the pocket. So you're getting a really big, kind of Aaron Rodgers pull set up, throw the ball deep down the field. So if you see that boundary safety kind of latching on, or at least in 3 week, or maybe in quarters, and he attaches to that bench route, and you got it over the top, licking your chops, man. And say he slushes off, or the safety latches onto it, then you got the in cut coming behind it. So I mean, this is Coach Brom's offense here at Louisville. So I love that the fact that he wanted to be aggressive, and I think for me more than anything, I had to be more aware of my check down, and I didn't think I took a lot of sacks this year, just kind of because of the fact that obviously we didn't have a lot of quarterback runs, but I was more aware of that, and we could call more shots because we're not taking as much negative plays.
Just listening to you rip off that play call, it struck me the verbiage differences. Were there major verbiage differences from or I mean, I know it was a leading question from what you were doing, and how much does that now prepare you as you sit in these meetings with NFL teams and coaches and coordinators? Like, how much do you ever think back, like, this was like these horrible moments, these things that were like, I can't believe that, why is this happening to me? Like, maybe it was all in the plan, and it was because now all of a sudden you're going in and you can rip off that play call, and I'm answering it for you, but take it wherever you want. You can rip off that play call with like, it's like ordering lunch for you, right? And that wouldn't have been the case had everything gone perfectly, and you spent you backed up Justin Herbert 2 great years at Oregon, and now I go out early for the NFL draft. Maybe you would have come in the league and you wouldn't have been ready like this.
No, 100%. I mean, you're exactly right. I would not have been ready. I'm 22, 21, 20 years old. No way. I'm at Oregon. You got like duo left, rip, slice.
Yeah.
Texas Tech, ace 95. 90 switch, which a lot of guys know in the air race. It's like, oh, early 95, and it's like,
Run us through a Louisville play.
yeah, we got White Cross, and then you got reduced to weak slot left, X-Mo, bolt 39 right, X-bomb, Z over. And that was just one play, and then we could can it to a run if they got something like that. So it was, we had multiple can systems to start, and then we got into kind of an OBR, or best run system, to where we're basically getting in a formation, and they're telling me to run it. And whether it's a KC or over under front, or they're rotating the weak safety down, then I'm going to get to zone or G scheme or counter or power away. And I took a lot of pride and had a lot of fun with that. And I wouldn't have been able to do this if I hadn't got injured, because when I got injured, I took more of the coaching side of the perspective, because I had to find a way to add value to the room. Mm-hmm. I'm not playing, so I earned the right with Coach Kitley, who's been probably one of the biggest people in my career to kind of give me that confidence, give me the keys to the car. So I'm in there with Coach Kitley game planning, seeing what we can do. And once I got to Louisville, we had the cans, but we didn't have like a check system. And I came in just kind of doing it. And they're like, "Why'd you do that?" They're like, "That was great." I was like, "Because you called a bad play." I was like, "It wasn't a bad play." I was like, "It wasn't going to work. So let's get to a better play." And obviously I'm joking, but that's how those conversations went. And then throughout the season at Louisville, I was game planning on Monday, or now Tuesday, for the NFL. So I'm in there with the coaches, bringing my play ideas and listening to them talk more than anything about what we like. So say the wide receiver coach, he's like, "Man, if we could check to this play when they bring 6-2 double dog, we have that against Georgia Tech where we're in the high red zone, they're bringing cover 0. Hey, let's get to a check. I check it real quick without them changing it, we get a touchdown." It's like, to me, that's more fun than just taking a 3-step drop and chucking a go, and everyone's like, "Oh!" It's like, that's what you're supposed to do,
Right.
But yeah, sorry, that was long-winded.
No, that's great.
That goes into kind of the thought process and that career of like getting to that point.
So I'm one of these NFL teams that's interviewing during this process, and I say to you, which one of your teammates should I draft? Which one of your teammates would you recommend as a player that I need to bring into my locker room? Who you got?
Man, that's hard. Obviously, the guys coming out right now, I think you could really pinpoint any one of them. A guy that comes to mind is, at least on defense, is Ashton Gelati,
right?
The defensive end he was a presence every single day. I think he's a really good dude. He's got a lot of juice to him. He's 21, 22, so at that position, I think that's good. You got to have some juice to you. I think Corey's done a really good job throughout this whole process, coming in, being a transfer guy, being a leader. He's got a really cool skill set, and then Quincy as well. He's another transfer guy. He's really smart. He's got all the tools, and that's kind of been, really, to your point, is my favorite part of this whole process is the relationships I built, from Oregon to guys being in my wedding to my coaches being invited to the wedding at Tech, and just everybody, because you find out who really is in your corner whenever you go through those things, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So working with guys who are 17, 18 years old from Miami, Florida, at Louisville, to in the past, playing with some guy who's 4 years older than me from who's from Washington or Texas, and having to go drink some beers with the O-line, and then being cool with the receivers as well, and kind of connecting with everybody. And
right.
Those are the questions that come up.
Your wife, is she ready for all this?
I think she's probably more ready for it than I am.
Yeah.
She played soccer at Oregon.
Okay.
She's more of an athlete than I am, honestly, but she sacrificed a lot. We were planning on being done with college, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, she's gonna move to Tech, or we'll be, it's gonna work out. We're gonna live the dream. It's like, boom. Okay, let's set the wedding date right here. Boom. And it's like, this happens. And obviously Coach Brown, they were great with us, finally getting married during spring ball. But it was like, she's been my rock throughout this whole process.
Awesome.
And I candidly would not be here without her support, just through everything, and my dog as well. And that's literally my life now. I don't have a gaming system. Don't do anything other than go on walks and just hang out and watch movies. So
it's important, man.
Yeah, it gives you that perspective shift. But she's helped me learn kind of some of the West Coast systems so far throughout this whole process. She's been helping me out. So hopefully we're going to try and get her good with the playbook by the time we hopefully get somewhere.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, where are you planning on being for draft weekend? What's the setup? What's the mindset?
Yeah, so I've been training in Dallas with my quarterback coach Landry Klon at QB Country and Exos there. They do a really good job. then I'll be in Arizona for the draft week just to be around the family. You know, my grandparents are getting older, so we wanted to for sure have them be there. They're in their 90s, and they've been amazing, and, as well as my parents and family and friends. So excited to get back to Arizona for a little bit, be in the sunshine, and hopefully get some good news there.
After everything you've been through, you're going to get a phone call. It's going to be a general manager, a head coach, or an owner, and you're going to be passed around to those people. I mean, I know your headspace isn't there now, but what do you anticipate that will be like? To finally, it's just the start of the journey. It's not the end. But to know, like, all right, we're here. It's time to go to work. We finally know what the future is.
Yeah. You know, I mean, first of all, I mean, I'm going to feel really grateful and indebted just because I know that they believe in me and I believe in myself, and that's what I want to convey is just that, you know, I'm gonna find a way to be the best guy in the room every single day and trying to elevate everybody else and be somebody who you want to be around and work with and have a lot of fun. And I think it's just going to be like a culmination of all those things where that's been my whole thought process, man. This is a bonus. Why are you nervous, man? This wasn't even supposed to happen.
Right.
And obviously you want good nerves, but it's just like, it's just been a lot of fun. People are complaining, oh man, this shit sucks. It's like we got so much to do, and it's like we got all these scans, we got all these interviews. I'm like, what else do you want me doing?
Yeah. Where you got to be?
Yeah, I'm like, this is awesome. You know, like football doesn't last forever. You know, like we playing golf and pickleball probably, 25, 30 years from now. I don't have a lot of time to do that, but by golly, I'm gonna do this right now for as long as I can. So. I wouldn't have had that mindset. I probably 2-3 years ago, like some of these guys, man, I'm entitled to this. I'm whatever.
Yep.
It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Go earn it.
Yep. All right, last thing for me. If we're going to put our chips in on you, man, can you please start protecting yourself a little bit?
Yeah.
You're like a linebacker or something. Like, I love it. It's, I always say this, like, what makes us great can also be our fatal flaw.
Yeah.
Have you worked on, the mindset of trying to,
100%. I mean, I think you see that at Texas Tech. I think there was a stat I was researching just because people asked me about, running. It's like, oh, why didn't you run a lot at Louisville? And I was like, well, that wasn't in the offense that we didn't do. And, at Tech, it was like 5 games. I had over 80 rushes. And all year at Louisville, I had 42. Whether that's, designed or just scrambles. But a lot of those were more designed at Tech. And I think I had, like I said, it was more of a mentality of like, I'm going to run so hard so my coaches are proud of me and the city loves me. And it's like,
what are we doing?
Oh, yeah. No. Like, if it's third or fourth down, get the first down. And then let's keep the chains moving. Let's go. And if it's first, second down, protect your body. But I was more aware of my check down. I like I said before, I didn't think I took a lot of, sacks to the point I had to be more aware of it. I was more in tune to the protections because we had 2 17-year-old running backs or 18-year-old running backs that just aren't familiar with protections. We're great athletes, who were great for us, but I had to be more aware of that, and it was great for me, like I was in the past, but every single time telling them who you got, standing there. So it just all, like, to your point, I'm gonna be more aware of it. But I think you see on tape at Louisville a lot more self-awareness of that and trying to protect myself and keep going.
It was gonna be my last question, but it just dawned on me. Are you running the 40?
Yeah.
Are you gonna run faster than Jackson Dart?
I don't know what he's gonna run.
What are you gonna run?
I mean, probably like 4.3 or something like that.
4.3. There you go.
So some slight.
There you go.
I may or may not have a bet with somebody that I know that you're
That's
gonna run
not
faster
true.
than Jackson.
That is not true.
I'm gonna run it. I don't know if he's running it, but I'm like, dude, might as well. Like, this is combine.
I love it.
Even if it's not, like, I feel like I check a lot of those boxes on filming in the past.
Well, go win me a dinner, man.
I got you. I'm literally gonna do everything I can.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.